Maravilha Munto. I'm a spoken word artist, but you can also find me on stage as an MC, a host. I study psychology, and I also teach spoken word at schools, the youth, older people, and I also work as a youth therapist. Or like different things. Mostly what I tell people is like poetry is like my diary. So I write whatever is happening in my life right now or has happened. For me, it's more a way of understanding myself, getting to know myself. But also, like I said, it's like a book to reread those words, to understand where you're from and not make the same mistake twice. Or it's not a way of, oh, I did this, I shouldn't do it again, but more like I felt that at that moment. I don't want to feel that again, so I'm not gonna go on that path again. So it's just a way of reflecting, being honest towards yourself, and also being okay with not feeling okay, that you shouldn't punish yourself for not feeling your best self every day. You should love yourself also on the day when you don't feel like loving. And the thing is with poetry is that it gives people a moment to like respond and answer. I'm not saying react, but answer. Because a lot of time we tend to react towards something. But whenever you react, you're not thinking about what you're doing. It's just something automatic, your reaction. And with spoken word or storytelling and poetry, you need to take a time to understand what a person is saying. And whenever you're taking time to understand what they're saying, that's the moment when you are able to give an answer to their words instead of just a reaction. And that, I feel like that's really the beauty of it, that it gives people that second moment to think about what they actually want to say and what they have heard and what that awakens inside of them. It's really funny because I have teach poetry for different ages. The youngest people I've teach were like, I think the youngest was like 7 years old, and the oldest person I taught poetry was like 86. So that's like a big range. So I've seen different kind of people in front of me. But the thing is, I always stick with the same essence. It's not about what you're writing. It's more about what is your motivation while you're writing it. Why is that important to you? Why is it that whenever I read your words, people will know that those are not my words? And that's what I teach them. It's this life where we're in right now is really not about what you're doing, but what drives you to do that. And that is going to help you to become the best version of yourself. Because if you know what your drive is, you're also going to know why you're doing it. And it's going to be a lot easier to do whatever you need to do to become where you want to be, or to become the person you want to be. I would say people who have felt unseen by society. Those are the people who resonate the most. It's really not about man, woman, or however you identify yourself with. It's really about feeling unseen, and that can be in every way. That could be racism, discrimination, intersectionality, things I talk about, colorism, but also like I feel like the word feminism is like really negative all of a sudden. Just being unseen is just also not feeling comfortable with being who you are. And some people who are like literally in danger because of how they look or what they believe in. So through writing, it's like a way to go against that and let people know. If the people don't know, you're gonna know. This is a book I wrote, The Shadow of My Complexion. It's a poetry bundle. I finished writing it like 3 months ago, and I have my that book released last month. And like I said before, it's really for the people who felt unseen, but also it focused more on colorism, and also intersectionality, and being like a dark-skinned woman in the society, and not just necessarily just Black. Why am I saying that? Is because the lighter you are, the more loved you are. The darker you are, the less loved you are. It's really a hard statement to say, but it's the reality that growing up when I was younger, I realized at a young age that people didn't like me as much because I didn't look like a certain kind of projection they had of beauty. I wasn't the epitome of beauty. And I started to learn that. And I was like, well, if I'm not beautiful like the other people, and they are not treating me as such, that means that I'm not worthy enough. So that means that I'm actually worthless. And whenever you're young and a young child and you don't know that much of the world and everything is black and white, you're just gonna feel like, okay, I'm not good enough, and you're gonna accept it like it's your reality. Like, I'm not beautiful enough, I'm not good enough, and that's it. And with this book, I didn't write this to be like, oh, look at me, I've been through a lot, now I'm good, I'm perfect, and I love myself and everything is okay. I wrote this to make people aware that everything you say has an influence on the younger people, the people that are not adult yet, has an influence on how people see themselves. And it could be like just, oh, but it was just a joke. But if you hear the same joke 10 times a day, every day for your whole life, it's gonna become your reality. So in this book, I was more talking about what it did to me emotionally, how I felt, and how I tried to shift that reality to make it my own reality. That like, I am beautiful, I am good enough, I am this, I am that. And it's not easy. It's like going to the gym. I don't go to the gym, but like, it's like going to the gym. You have to go there every day or like consistently to become a better version of yourself. So it's more about trying to shift your mind to become a better version of yourself. And I always said that this book is a book written for my unborn daughters. So whenever they feel like they're struggling, I give them this and be like, it's okay how you feel. I've been through it too, but we're gonna get there. So that's the Shadow of My Complexion. I know the poem by heart, but I just brought the book because it's cute. And the poem is called, it's on page, I don't know that by heart. Page 93, and it's called Dear Black Girl. Dear Black Girl, it took me so long to write this letter because I felt like somehow I was still struggling with this truth. I felt like, however, I've got past it, I still needed to prove that their truth wasn't necessarily true. Because they will look at your black skin, filled with precious and beautiful melanin, and they will tell you, you're so beautiful for dark skin. As if your skin color was the only thing they saw when they looked at you. But when I look at you, I see history. I see how they have enslaved my great-grandmother, and even though we're both complete strangers, and my resting bitch face may feel like hatred, but I feel this raw bond between us. And I just want to say that our complexion doesn't define us because we are exquisite. Dear Black Girl, they may say that you're trying to be white, as if being born in a black skin isn't enough for them to realize there isn't such a thing as acting white. As if educating yourself, reading books, expanding your vocab, ça veut dire que je suis en train d'être une blanche. Mais laisse-moi te dire maintenant que ma peau noire, ça signifie pas mijn intelligence, want wij zijn meer dan dat. En iedere dag moet ik aan mijn medezusters vertellen dat lichter zijn niet beter is. En het enige verschil tussen haar lichtere huid en jouw donkere huid is waar we werkten als slaven in de geschiedenis. Wij zijn één pot nat. But you know what? If there's no struggle, there's no progress. Never be limited by other people's limited imaginations. Racism is not an excuse for you not to do the best you can, because the struggle is a never-ending process and has never really been won. You earn it and win it in every generation. That was Dr. Mae Jemison, Frederick Douglass, Arthur Ashe, and Coretta Scott King. All this greatness, and darling, keep in mind that they had all a black skin. So dear black girl, when I say you're not just beautiful for a black girl, you're simply beautiful because you're you, believe me, sincerely, Maravilha, a black, educated, dark-skinned girl. I feel like sometimes when some things happen, I could feel like a lot of anger towards it. Like, I remember when I was going, that's a long story, so I'm not even gonna do that, knowing me. But like, something happened to me, and it was like a white person was being really racist towards me. And instead of reacting from out anger, I used that anger to write. And that's why I have like those powerful poems when I'm standing on stage. And when people only have seen that part of me, that I'm just performing those powerful poems, they're gonna be like, oh, she's someone who is like really, you know, strong and independent woman and strong, yada, yada, yada. But other people can also say like, I'm really vulnerable and really soft and really this or really that. So it really depends what kind of energy I'm feeling at that moment. But like, every emotion helps me to write something. So instead of, I always say this to the younger people that come to me whenever I give them therapy, it's really not about your emotions. Your emotions are not wrong. It's what are you doing with those emotions? If you're angry, that's okay. That's valid. I understand. But what do you do with your anger? That is the thing that makes something bad or good. So it's okay that I feel angry, but what I'm gonna do with it? Am I gonna curse? Am I gonna scream? Am I going to do this? No, I'm gonna use it to write a poem. And they're good poems, so I'm happy. I would say that you are the only person that can define who you are. And what you do is not who you are. However, what you do can become a part of you if you're not being cautious. So every negative thing you do doesn't mean that you're a negative person. But in long term, it can be a part of you that you are someone who does negative things. And if you want to become a better person, start today with loving yourself. And loving yourself is not just saying I love you to you every time, or it's not just manifesting good things, positive things. It's really not about that. Loving yourself is the bad and the good, is not being mad at yourself while you're making mistakes, is not being angry because you're not there where you want to be, and it's just being soft with yourself. It's be your own best friend, you know? You wouldn't say that thing to your best friend. Tell them they're ugly, they're not good enough, they're not this. You wouldn't tell them on a daily basis that they're that. So you shouldn't do it to yourself too. Loving yourself is becoming your own friend and being soft with yourself. And you're good the way you are right now, not when you reach your goals.